So hi guys and welcome back. In this video, we are going to understand what are the different finance careers in a lot of detail. Okay, so it's going to be a slightly long video, but if you are interested in understanding the different types of finance career options which are out there, this video is going to be very helpful, especially if you are a graduate, if you are just starting into finance, if you are thinking about transitioning into finance, and all you know about the finance field is investment banking, equity research, private equity, venture capital. If you think this is all there is to finance, this video is a must watch for you so that you take a call on which finance career is most suited for you. Okay, you should at least know what are the different types of opportunities out there, what is the kind of work that you do in these different roles, and then you can take a call, where is your interest more aligned. And it does not just mean looking at the pay structure, it also means that, looking at the career growth, the opportunities, the work life balance, the kind of work you like to do, because the work is going to be extremely different if I talk about the different fields. Okay, so we will come to the investment industry later. So now starting off with the corporate finance vertical, this is basically the industry leg of finance. So if you look at the market, there are so many non-finance companies. There is Google, there is Meta, there is Amazon, there is HUL, there is Reliance, right? There are a lot of non-finance companies. So now, do you think that these companies don't have any element of finance in them? No, ultimately, all of these companies need money, and that is where finance is relevant in the industry. And this leg is the corporate finance leg. Okay, so typically, if you want to work in this leg, one possibility is to take an accounting kind of a role. Now, this will be a slightly back end kind of a role where you will be involved in the day to day accounting of the transactions, collecting accounts, receivables, payables, all of that stuff. The second option which you have is to take up a finance controllership kind of role. Now, a finance controllership is again, being responsible for the accounts, taking end to end ownership of the books of accounts. See, every company needs to report the results, right? Every company needs to come out with an annual report, balance sheet, P&L, all of that, taking controllership of all of it, finance controllership. Next option that is there is a FP&A role, which is financial planning and analysis kind of a role. Now, if you are involved in this kind of a role, you will basically analyze budgets. What was the budget of the company? How much was the actual spending of the company? Doing variance analysis, all of that work. Okay, because every company needs to manage finances. So, analyzing the budgets of the company, variance analysis of the company, all of that falls under FP&A. And even in corporate finance, there is going to be something called as a financial analyst kind of a role. Now, a financial analyst is not going to do a very typical kind of a role. The role is going to be more towards aligning strategy and finance. Okay. So, when you are entering into corporate finance, if you play your cards right, if you follow the right trajectory, this kind of a role can ultimately help you to become potentially the CFO of a company. CFOs of the company earn very well. Okay. The advantage of corporate finance as compared to investment is that, okay, if you play your cards right, you get a good mix of strategy and finance, and you have a better work life. And if you switch properly, if you take the decisions correctly, this role can actually grow and become a CFO role. So, this is about corporate finance. Now there is traditional banking. Traditional banking, like all of you know, the origination of finance, the traditional banking, lending money and borrowing money, you can work in this space as well. Here, one of the major opportunities that is there is treasury management, which is basically, let's say, you are handling the liquidity of the bank, asset liability management. Where should the money be invested if it is available for a very short period of time? So, all of that treasury management, that is also an option. And here you basically have credit risk as a opportunity. Credit risk basically means taking a decision on whether or not you can give credit to the borrower, whether or not you can give loan to a particular borrower. So here also we have two types. There is corporate credit risk, which means that if a company is coming to borrow money, okay, let's say a corporation is coming to borrow money, can you lend money to the corporation or not? That is corporate credit risk. And other opportunity that is there is in the wealth management credit risk, which means that if high net worth individuals etc want to borrow money, can you lend money to them or not? So that is covered under credit risk. This is, two of the primary options that we have in traditional banking. Then we move on to the much demanded investment side. Investment side we can split into two parts, which is sell side and buy side. Now, buy side is basically the side which takes investing decisions, which means that they actually have money to invest. Okay, sell side can give research, sell side can give recommendations, sell side can provide support. But the ultimate decision of investing, the ultimate money which is available to invest, that is going to be available with buy side. In buy side, majorly we have asset management companies. Asset management companies could include a mutual fund. So let's say you become a fund manager in a mutual fund, pays very, very well. Basically, here there is all portfolio management kind of roles which are there. So becoming a fund manager of a mutual fund, or working in a hedge fund. Okay. Working in a hedge fund is even more fun. Okay. Money is amazing. Plus, most of the times you can also take short positions, right? Which means you can do short selling and all also. So, hedge fund for that reason becomes even more fun. Then there is something called as working in a PMS, which is a portfolio management services company, which handles portfolios of ultra high net worth individuals. You need a very big corpus size generally to be able to invest your money in the portfolio management services company. You can work as a fund manager in a PMS, okay, not directly when you start out, eventually. And then there is something called as AIF funds, which is alternate investment funds. Okay, so investing the money in different alternate investment asset categories. So this is not going to be your traditional equity stocks. It is not going to be your traditional bonds. It's going to be alternate investments, real estates, InvITs, right? All of that stuff. So that is all covered under asset management. And then we have PEVC on the buy side. Now, PEVC is basically they take a decision to invest money in a private company. So, this could either be a startup or it could be a slightly well established company, but it is going to be a private company. So, when we talk about working with a private equity firm or working with a venture capital, what they basically do is that they are going to invest money in a private company. Venture capital is slightly more risky, and they are going to invest typically at the early stage when the company is not really a company, it's more of a startup. And later on in the life cycle of the company, many times venture capitalists exit and private equity investors enter. So here the work is finding appropriate deals, doing the entire deal structuring, deciding how much stake you will take for what percentage of equity. And these investors are also involved in the day to day operations of the company. Okay, now coming on to sell side. In sell side, we have investment banking. Even in investment banking, there is a categorization. So, first option is that you go for the capital markets team, which means that if anybody wants to raise money, it is your capital markets team which is going to help them to raise money. The capital markets team is also split into debt capital markets, which means if someone wants to raise money through bonds, it is the debt capital markets which is going to come into the picture. Or else it can be equity capital markets, which means they want to raise money through an IPO, through a stock issuance. So, equity capital markets. Actually, for investment banking, let me just take a fresh slide. So, let us talk about your favorite investment banking in detail, because I know a lot of people are super hyped about investment banking. So, investment banking, the entire floor, I can primarily split into two types. One is your capital markets. So basically, if a company wants to raise money from capital markets, they will come to the investment banking team, and within the investment banking team, they will be speaking to the capital markets team. Capital markets team is also split into the debt capital market and the equity capital market. Now, equity capital market is basically your normal IPO, as I'm sure all of you know. And then there is debt capital market. So, debt capital market is basically again split into multiple types. If you want to raise money through bonds, which are high yield. High yield bonds means they have slightly lower credit rating. Then we have leveraged finance, also called as LevFin. If you want to raise your money through investment grade bonds, which means bonds which are of a very high credit quality, we have the IG bond division. And often there is something called as structured credit also, which means that you want to raise money through complicated bond issuances, right? Structured credit. Mortgage backed securities, securitized instruments. Okay, so structuring all of that is under structured credit. So this is the capital markets leg of it. Then there is a M&A leg of it, and the M&A leg of it is, like all of you know, it is basically if two companies want to merge, if someone wants to acquire another company, then that goes through the M&A vertical. So this is again divided into different sectors depending on the industries. So I can have a sector for, let's say, FMCG companies. I can have a sector for oil and natural gas companies. I can have a sector for industrials. So, like this, it will be divided into sectors. This is how your favorite investment banking actually looks like. A lot of fun. Typically, investment banks charge a 2% transaction fees, and while it may look a small number, 2%, you need to understand that the deal size is very, very huge. So 2% of the deal size turns out to be a significantly sufficient number. This and any out of pocket expenses. Most of the times, this is how it is structured. So if you are in the M&A leg, it will involve identifying a potential target, identifying how you're going to acquire the target, what kind of valuation are you going to give, and how will you acquire? Will you acquire by paying cash? Will you acquire by issuing shares of the acquiring company? Okay. It will involve proper deal structuring so that the deal is accretive. It will involve having an understanding of the synergies. Okay. So I understand this is becoming slightly complicated, and this video is not only about investment banking. This video is about finance careers. But if you are interested in investment banking, you are very sure you want to make a career in investment banking only, feel free to reach out to me. I'll help you out with the process. I'll explain to you what it is all about, and we can go through the next steps together. But for now, let us come back to finance careers, because that was what this video is about. So, investment banking discussed separately. Then we have equity research, something that I absolutely loved. Equity research involves a lot of reading. It is basically issuing recommendations on whether or not your client should buy a particular stock. So, basically, for equity research, who is the client? This buy side asset management companies, they are the clients. Okay, for equity research, the client is this buy side asset management company. When a mutual fund manager decides I should invest in the shares of Google, he is going to rely on some research report. He is going to need some industry insight. That recommendation, that target price, that investment thesis comes from the equity research desk. Beautiful field if you are interested in reading, if you are interested in learning about industries, if you are interested in writing. Okay, you are going to love equity research. Again, if you are interested specifically for equity research, feel free to reach out to me. I have worked in both investment banking and equity research. Either of the two fields you want to make your career in, feel free to reach out and connect one on one. Now, let me come to the last part, which is the sales. Now, sales is basically about relationship management. So, if you are someone who is super interested in finance but also loves talking to people, this could be the desk for you. Again, it is not like you have to sell, it is not marketing in the traditional sense of it. You will need a lot of understanding of finance to even think about surviving in a sales role, because it is very, very detailed. You need very broad level understanding. Okay, if I'm talking about equity research analysts, they will have very deep understanding of one particular sector. But if I'm talking about the sales desk, they will have a very broad understanding of all the sectors. Okay, so not deep understanding, but broad understanding of all the sectors. They will know what are the client pushbacks, they will know how to handle it, they will know how to bring together the research team with the asset management team. So it's a very important role, a very fun role. And if you are someone who likes a mix of finance and relationship management, this could be the role for you. Okay, so this is a basic summarization of the different finance careers which are there. I hope this video helped you. And if you are confused about anything, feel free to drop it down in the comments. I'll try and respond, or else feel free to connect one on one. That works too. All the best.